The following is a mechanically reproduced announcement, previously recorded from a live scheduled program on 24.7 The Stream. This is not a live broadcast. All guests, callers, and hosts granted 24.7 The Stream permission to be recorded. This program may contain strong language or topics not suited for younger listeners. Parental discretion is advised. Thank you for listening to 24.7 The Stream. It's your life. You only get one of them. It's your health. It's your responsibility. Don't struggle with this problem alone. Stay tuned for the solution. Welcome to Rock Your Health with Anthony Melchiotti. Anthony began his journey into holistic health over 20 years ago with the study of Chinese medicine. He is a graduate of the Wellness Institute and today a licensed holistic healthcare practitioner at New Life Holistic Health, specializing in functional neurology, contact reflex analysis, nutritional counseling, and biofeedback. So stop whatever you're doing right now and get ready for insights. Get ready for information. Get ready to be entertained. And get ready to rock your health. Now, here is your host of Rock Your Health Radio, Anthony Melchiotti, on 24.7 The Stream.
All right, welcome back. Rock Your Health Radio, coming to you live from Chicago, where it is 30 degrees. I'm ready to go skiing. We got an exciting show tonight. You know what? At the clinic, newlifeholistic.com, this is what we see. We have patients who come in all the time, and they say, I don't know what's going on. I've been to every doctor. I've been to everything I could go to, and I still don't feel right. And when I do go to the doctors, they can't find out what's wrong with me, or they just laugh, or they just tell me it's in my head, and I need answers. And what we find most of the time is people are, of course, eating the wrong foods. They have a bad diet. So let's take that out of it. What if you walk in and you say, well, I have a perfect diet? Then the next thing is we look at the supplements they're taking. And usually it's garbage that they're taking from GNC, Walmart, Walgreens, and we say, well, your supplements are really a factor that are making you sick or continuing to keep you unhealthy. But they say, no, I'm eating the clean diet. I'm taking the great supplements. Now what is it? Well, 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen is they are living in what we would call a sick home, an unhealthy environment. 20 years ago, I was at a holistic health conference that was here in Chicago. And we had just been, the bad thing was just before that conference, our basement had flooded. We did everything we had the whole house remediated. We didn't want any mold. But for some reason, the smell just wouldn't go away. And we went to the new Holistic Health Conference. One of the people there was demonstrating this NASA technology for clean air. And I said, well, that can't be true, right? And this woman said, listen, this will not only clean your air, it'll clean the smells. This machine will clean staph, strep, all these different types of bacteria. And not only did it clean up the entire basement, the house smelled incredible after just 2 days. So that goes back 20 years. I've been friends with her ever since. I've been dying to get her on to the show, Rock Your Health Radio. Finally tonight, she is here to be a guest. Ron, tell us who's here tonight.
Well, tonight we have Bridget Cornelius here. And Bridget's background includes teaching high school biology, chemistry, and physics. She had difficulty breathing since early childhood until in 1999, a neighbor introduced her to an air purifier that cleaned the air in the whole house. That unit eliminated all signs of her severe allergies, and a short time later, her focus changed to the air quality in homes. Since then, she has helped many people understand why clean air in homes is important, how to keep the air healthy by making everyday decisions toward that end. Bridget has been a certified indoor air quality specialist since 2003 and now has the training to find out what is in the air with her certifications as a mold inspector and VOC, which is volatile organic compounds and particulate testing.
Wow, that's awesome. Welcome to the show, Bridget. Glad to have you.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the show. This is quite an honor.
Yeah, well, like I said, we go back 20 years, you and I.
And exactly. It's been quite a ride.
And when you first started, so tell people a little bit more about that, because I know there's people out there now, they have children who have allergies, but here's something else that's important, like myself. I have a miniature greyhound. Think about your pets when you're filling your homes with all these Glade plugins that are right at the same level of your dog. And if you can smell the Glade plug-in, that animal smells it times 20. So go back to the beginning there. You had allergies, and what were you doing before you knew about clean air? How did you deal with the allergies?
Well, the very first thing I did was buy one of those waxy wound deodorizers because I knew our house smelled like something.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking because all it did was add to the air quality, poor air quality. The next thing I did was go to a doctor and get a prescription. I tried 3 or 4 of them, and one of the prescriptions made my skin crawl. And I figured, well, this is not the way I want to be. If it's doing that to my skin, what is it doing to the rest of me? And I quit. And that's when my symptoms got really bad. And I decided, well, I'll just not take anything, and I will just, it'll just be the way it is. If I happen to get really sick, that's the way it is. But a week later, I met the neighbor that introduced me to the air purification system, and without any trouble at all, I had no trouble breathing. About 3 weeks later, my lungs were clear. They just cleared up.
Wow.
I've had a life ever since. I haven't used a tissue very occasionally, and I just can breathe a deep breath. It's just been incredible. It's like a whole new life.
Well, now tell me this. When this all was happening, were you teaching high school at the time?
No, I wasn't. I've had compromised lungs since I was about 4 years old.
Okay.
And of course, I started really knowing about it in my teens. And it just kept getting worse. And then we moved to Arizona, actually, for a while, thinking that would actually help the problem, but it did not. It got it worse because the dust was so incredibly, dust is always in the air in Arizona because it's so dry and there's always a wind.
Sure.
And evidently that was one of the things that I was allergic to.
Well,
even in school, when we would exchange Christmas presents, I would often get, some perfume from some of the younger children, and I knew right away I could never, ever open that bottle.
Yeah. Well, here's where I think people really need to pay attention is everyone has that environment in their house, and what happens with it is it's affecting you, it's affecting the children, it affects your lungs, but it also activates your immune system. So your immune system never really gets a break. Even though you're asleep, immune system never shuts off. It's always going after whatever this particulate is that it's picking up. If you have sinusitis, some people have more of a sticky mucus in the sinus, which acts like a flypaper. It grabs all this particulate, and then you have the inflammation. So now you're going to your doctor because you have sinusitis, and you're going for secondary issues, which are symptomatic. You're never getting to the bottom line, and the bottom line is the air in your home is the problem. Not the asthma, not the sinusitis. These are all outward signs that your air is sick. And I think one of the things that amazed me when we went, when I first saw your booth was you did a demonstration. And what Bridget does is she has a plastic plexi box, and she had a handkerchief that she had covered with ammonia. You know how strong ammonia is. It'll burn your eyes.
Right.
She put the rag into the box with the clean air machine, I don't know, for 2 minutes. Took it out. You couldn't smell anything. This thing could remove the smell of ammonia. So what it did was it didn't give your home where you have a sick home and you have particulate in your house and you have mold. And instead of covering it with Yankee candles and potpourri and Glade plug-ins, she actually washes the air with this machine. So talk a little bit more about that technology, Bridget.
Well, all of our units have basically the same technology inside of them, and the largest unit, which covers 3,000 square feet, has 5 different technologies inside of it, and one of them is producing hydroxyl ions through UV light and a special RCI cell, and that actually just goes out into the air. The fan blows on that particular technology. It blows the hydrogen peroxide style molecules out into the air all over your home, and those molecules start to just tear apart anything that is a VOC, any chemical in the air, whether it's cigarette smoke chemicals or dog odor or fresh paint, fresh varnish, a skunk odor. It doesn't really matter what the odor is. It will tear it apart and just annihilate it and turn it actually back into water, carbon dioxide, and oxygen, so that when you finally walk into your home, it'll smell like fresh air. It'll smell like there aren't any walls on your house. It's just no odor at all, which is what you want. Another thing that all of the units do is they have ionization, needlepoint. The largest unit also has radio ionization, and what they do is they put more negative ions into the air. This is kind of like outdoors. There are anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 negative ions per square half-inch, cubic half-inch, or about a cubic centimeter.
Okay.
And you have that many negative ions in a cubic centimeter. Inside the house, you might have 35 per cubic centimeter. That's just drastically different. And you need more negative ions in order to drop the dust. It's been shown time and again that most dust particles in residential homes and businesses, the dust is all positively charged, and so they act like thousands of tiny North Poles all over the house, and they repel each other, and they'll stay suspended for years. They are so tiny, they will never have the mass, the weight to drop down onto your hardwood floor, onto your carpet, or whatever you happen to have as flooring. They will not be able to stay there. What our machines do is they put out the negative ions. The negative ions immediately attract dust particles, and then suddenly the dust particle has a negative positive charge, which is like having a north and south pole to every single dust particle up there. And if you've ever watched these little iron filings or something start clumping, or a magnet start attracting iron filings, you'll note right away that, now they're clumping. They're not staying as single entities anymore. And that's exactly what happens to the dust. The dust starts to form itty-bitty snowballs that you can't see, but it does happen. Usually in your house, it takes 2 to 3 days of waiting until it's mostly all down. Sometimes only 8 hours in the room that it's in. But they will all drop like little tiny, you make a snowball out of snowflakes, essentially, and they drop to the floor, they drop to the top of a chair ledge, they drop to the top of the bedspread, they just drop down.
Well, let me ask you this question, because my co-host here, Ron, he has 2 French bulldogs.
Correct.
And with 2 French bulldogs, gosh darn it, we love them. But you don't want that bulldog smell through the whole house. Does the smell come from dander, from perspiration? Where do you get, because, you brought up a good point, dog smell. Where do you get the dog smell, and how does the machine capture it and make the house smell so fresh? Because I've been in a home where they had 2 German Shepherds, and I could not even smell that they had a dog. The home smelled like a health spa.
I've been in a home with 7 black labs, and they were trying to sell the house, and obviously they could not.
No.
So what we did was we put one of the large units into the home.
Sure.
Just one. And the very next morning it was gone.
Beautiful.
It's the hair, the old hair that falls off. It's the skin, perhaps. Of course, a wet dog smells worse than a dry one. And I remember when we had a black lab, and I would try to wash that dog every week, trying to get rid of the smell, but it really didn't work. I tried to cover it up, and finally, this machine, our poor dog got maybe 2 baths a year because she never smelled anymore.
That's beautiful.
And of course, people smell too. We don't have quite all that fur to, I don't know, be on the. And some dogs have very short fur, so you wonder where the smell's coming from. But still, they do have odors and digestive odors as well as fur odors and skin odors.
Sure. Now, something that's very interesting, maybe you can tell them the science of this. The machine, they actually took Petri dishes. And in the Petri dishes, they put, you'll have to fill me in on the rest, but what I remember from seeing, and I've seen the studies and the research, they took staph infections, they took strep, I think they even took HIV. And it was in a Petri dish, and after running the machine for 12 hours, all the strains had died.
Absolutely true, and they just did a repeat study on that just last year in 2015, and they came out with, by 24 hours, they're all gone. But in some cases, the Petri dishes, they weren't cleared, but the viruses and the bacteria in there were dead. And they were dead after about sometimes only 8 hours of having the machine on. These machines sanitize, and I use the word hydroxyl or hydrogen peroxide style molecules. And of course, hydrogen peroxide is a very strong sanitizer, and these units put tiny molecules all over the air in your house, and they will definitely kill germs that are on surfaces. And of course, any particulates are dropped down.
So here's what I'm thinking. If anyone out there is listening, you know that during cold and flu season, a lot of you bring in all of these germs. You have staph, you have strep, you have different bacterias. They're all airborne. You have sneezing, you have coughing. One of these machines in the home, we just got done telling you, you can look at the research yourself. You can look at the science, the Petri dishes. In only 8 hours, you're washing that air. So if you have a sick person, for myself, if I have a sick person in the house, I just quarantine them. I put them in the bathroom and I seal it with Visqueen, and they're not allowed out of the bathroom. I just feed them. I cut a little slit in the Visqueen, and I slide a TV dinner in there. But if you have a normal household and you have the children coming home, the children are subjected to school all day where they're going to come bring these things home with them. Well, what if your home is washing the air where your children walk in the door and they have some kind of virus, bacteria, they're coughing it into the air, sneezing it into the air. You got the clean air machine. You're cleaning your own air. And especially if it's strong enough to kill HIV, I don't know what's stronger than that.
Or MRSA. MRSA is among those that this machine will take care of.
Yeah, that's
Legionnaires'
amazing.
disease.
That's amazing because my brother dealt with MRSA himself. Tell Bridget your story there, little Ron.
Actually, the dogs developed a skin condition. French bulldogs are prone to skin conditions, and a rash that the dog scratched and exposed was then, they actually called it MRSIP. It was like the dog form of MRSA. But the dog contracted that just due to a wound being exposed in the house.
Yeah, so now you have a home where you have an active pathogen, and you're hoping and praying nothing happens. Well, with the clean air machine, there is nothing. Nothing can happen. You're cleaning the air. So I like that part of it. And the other thing is, when you said 3,000 square feet, how are you positioning this so that it washes the upstairs, the downstairs, the basement? Where would you position the unit? Well, first of all, tell everyone the size of the unit.
Well, the size of the unit itself is only about 10 inches tall, 8 inches to the back, and about 7 inches wide at the bottom. So it's not it's like 2 toasters perhaps, about that large. It will do the whole house. It's the same kind of technology that they use to clean the space station and that they use to clean the space shuttle. It was invented for that kind of environment, and of course now we have it available for our own homes. But the unit has to be placed at least, preferably 6 feet up. In other words, on top of a bookshelf or a china cabinet.
Or a refrigerator.
A refrigerator is excellent. But then you have to make sure the airflow is proper, because if say you cook some broccoli or some fish or some other food that has a lot of odor to it.
Sure.
Just notice where it goes in the home. Very often it'll end up in the master bedroom or in some upstairs room. We call that the odor sink in the house. And whatever direction that cooking odor travels in that home, the air that this unit produces will travel in the same pattern. In other words, there's always airflow in your home going from one room to the next room, even if you do not have ducts and a central air system.
Sure.
The air still moves slowly throughout the house, and
Sure.
so will the cleaning materials that this air produces. A lot of people ask me, what do I have to add to the machine? Nothing. The machine makes everything itself. You don't have to add a bottle of hydrogen peroxide to it or anything like that. The machine is self-contained. It does not require any additives.
Yeah, believe it or not, we had a producer on the show here. His name was David. And David, just like you're saying, with David, the smell of the food would travel up to the bedroom, but that's because when you'd go upstairs, David was in bed eating a pizza. So it wasn't an airflow problem. It was more of a David eating pizza in bed. But can you do an entire basement? Say someone out there now, they say, whatever I do, my basement smells like mildew. We've checked for mold. We've cleaned the carpets. I can't get rid of the smell. Well, obviously, a lot of people have a sump pump. That gives them a smell. What can this machine do for a basement? Get rid of the basement smell?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. That'll happen overnight in most cases. Now, I've got to qualify what I said about one machine per home. It really depends what's going on in that home. For example, if that home has 10 cats, some of which are very old and incontinent, perhaps it will take more than one machine.
Well, if that home has 10 cats, I'm calling animal services.
So depending on what your problem is, if you have a basement that is very musty smelling, then I would suggest starting out perhaps with one machine just to see, where you can place it and if it will actually move. It depends on whether you have a door in your basement or if the door, it's always open area.
Okay.
But then I would put one in my basement and one in my first level. And the first level will just do the second level if you have the second level.
Okay, so now in the old days when I had the first machine, first or second generation, you know the one I had, there was a way where you could put that unit up to one of your air vents and put it on clean or wash the air or something, and you leave your home. and you leave your home and you'd let this unit run for 4 to 8 hours, and it would go through all the duct work. Does that still happen on the new machines?
I actually still recommend doing that if the people can at all leave. Otherwise, I do a slow cleaning. But usually I recommend people put it at a cold air return on high.
Okay.
And then run the fan on, on rather than on auto for their HVAC system.
Yeah. And what I tell patients is, if you have had anyone in your house who's been sick, you don't want that to spread to the rest of the family members. So here's what I always hear when a patient comes in. I have the flu, I have a cough, I have a cold. Okay, did you get it from work? When did this happen? My kid brought it home, and then the rest of us, we all got it. I said, hey, just, you know what? Set up the machine, wash all the air. If you could leave the house, wash all that air, especially after one of them's been sick, and it will stop the rest of you from getting sick because you'll get rid of the staph, strep, whatever it is that's in the air, you'll get rid of it all.
Very true. It could walk in again the next day when the kids come home again. It'd be really wise to get one put into their, usually it's the preschoolers that do that. But some teachers do have these units in their home, just in their classroom actually, to prevent the spread of the germs going from them, or from them to the kids, or the kids to them. Yes, I would wash the air. It isn't always, people always think it's necessary to leave the house when you have it on that sanitized mode. And depending on what's going on, you and the dogs and the cat, or, the birds, whatever cat there happens to be, can stay in the home while that happens, depending on what's going on. Like, if it's very, very cold outside and you can't leave the house, or it's too hot outside, and you burn the popcorn in the microwave, for example, then just turn the unit on super high and for maybe a 2-hour cycle. And when you don't smell the popcorn anymore, it takes about a half an hour to 2 hours to clear that smell up. Then turn it back down again.
Well, when we were growing up, who needed this machine, Bridget, is my grandmother, because she would cook bacon, fish, and the whole house smelled like an armpit. If I had the machine back then, we could have washed the air, and some of the stuff is great. The Italian cooking, you will come in, it smells great. Some of the stuff, not so good. And you could have just cleaned the air. So there's women listening right now saying, I cook all day because I have dinner guests coming over, but then when the dinner guests show up, my house stinks. So before the dinner guests show up, I'm going to light 15 candles and Glade. I'm going to spray Glade. So people walk in and it smells like junk. Now it smells like you're breathing all this sprayed cleaner, and everyone says they're on some new craze now with the furniture, with the carpet. They got to Febreze everything. And the only thing you're Febrezing is your lung tissue. You're burning.
Absolutely.
You're burning your lung tissue just to make your home smell clean.
It's a lot harder for the lungs to work those artificial chemicals that big factories make and put on store shelves than it is for the lungs to work on the cooking odors.
Yeah, exactly. And you also have to think about the chemicals that you're sucking into your lungs. That's going in your bloodstream. So people think, because they've shown a link now to candles and lead from candles to women's breast cancer. They've shown all type of esophageal cancers, lung cancers. We know now it's related to radon. You have a machine now that checks for mold. I've had patients who come in, and one specific who wrote a testimony on my website, if you go to newlifeholistic.com, this woman had gone through every place looking for some kind of solution. What ended up happening was she was working in a basement. She made her basement into an office. She was working in the basement. The basement was full of mold. She had symptoms of MS, Parkinson's. She couldn't even walk up the stairs at the end of the day. She would spend the entire day in the basement. Well, when they brought in the mold detector, they said it was the strongest mold they've ever seen ever. So this woman was being poisoned. So how many people listening right now You're being poisoned by dirty air. You're burning your lungs out, just like a smoker. You're burning your lungs out with Febreze and candles and plug-ins and everything. And you're burning the lungs of your pets, which, their lungs are the size of your thumb. So their lungs are being burnt out, all in an effort to make your house smell clean at the expense of your lungs, your esophagus, and the chemistry of your body, because the chemicals, once they're in through the lung, they're into the blood.
Precisely. I call it mainlining through your lungs, because your lungs, those chemicals go all the way down to the alveoli and are absorbed by the bloodstream, of course, where the air should be exchanging the oxygen. Instead, it's these chemicals. And one of the things that that you should mention, too, is the dryer sheets that have the perfume on them and the perfume detergents, because people sleep all night on those pillows, on those sheets. They wear their clothes all day, and they are constantly, their skin is just absorbing all these different perfumes that are put out by the detergents and the fabric softeners. And that is just one of the most dangerous, also, besides the plug-ins. The plug-ins and the perfumes in the laundry are really tough on the lungs.
Well, the dry cleaning is now a carcinogen. So the people who go get all this dry cleaning, let alone the people who work there, they need a clean air machine at the dry cleaner. But all the people who go in, there are organic places now. There's natural places where you can get your dry cleaning done without the chemicals. But people don't research them, and a lot of people don't know about that. So when you're out there getting that dry cleaning, you're putting that on your skin, and all day long, your body is sweating, the pores are opening, and it's absorbing dry cleaning chemical into your bloodstream, and it's a carcinogen. And people wonder, they say, I don't know what happened. I was so healthy, and I went to the doctor, now I have cancer, and I never smoked, I never did nothing. I don't know what happened. Well, because they're showing you, people, it's chemicals around you, and what we say at the clinic is anything that you put in your body, anything that you put in your body, on your body, or near your body is going to affect you.
That sounds absolutely perfectly true to me, and it's absolutely essential that people begin to realize that and practice other habits.
Bridget, this is Ron. I have just a quick question. You talked about the allergies and the cleaning of the air, which I think a lot of people might associate with some type of congestion. But when you talk about air quality, does it address like dry air or like dry nasal passages, things? Does it do anything to kind of treat or condition the air?
No, this machine will not do that. That's a factor of humidity, and the humidity to be comfortable should be between 40 and 60%. But everybody has to realize that anything above 17% humidity will grow mold, or the potential for mold growth is there. Mold is everywhere. You can't really have a clean environment, even in a clean room, for science experiments. Mold is just everywhere. It's just a matter of controlling primarily the water. Keep wet areas, fix drain pipes quickly, fix window leaks quickly, because you do not want a mold to grow and fester. Of course, in some pumps, that's another whole story.
Yeah, and what we see what we're seeing at the clinic is when you have people coming in who, like I said before, they say, I have migraines or I have sinusitis. It's usually the particulate in the air of their home that's getting trapped in the sinuses, causing that inflammation. So when someone says sinusitis, itis just means inflammation. So you have an inflammation in your sinus, and when you go to the doctor and he looks at you and you say, I got these crazy headaches, and he says, well, here's your problem, you have sinusitis. That's not telling me anything. That just tells me I have inflamed sinuses. You need to look back at the doctor and say, okay, thanks for pointing that out. Obviously, I do have inflamed sinuses. Now tell me why, because you're a doctor, so explain to me why I do. Then you would need to get to the bottom of it. Is it my air quality? Do I have mold in my home? Am I using too many chemicals? Am I using Febreze? Am I using Snuggle air softener sheets or Bounce? If you have sinus issues and you're using chemicals in your home, you're throwing gas on the flames, right?
You are asking all the right questions of your clients, because one of the first things that happens in the home is when these units are put in, which really shocks the customers and the homeowners, is that very often the migraines will stop. I've had that happen to so many people, and more than that, the snoring will stop. Nobody can quite believe that, wait a minute, my husband's not snoring anymore. And very often they'll come to me and say, Bridget, I had to check whether he was still breathing with a feather. And one of my customers actually did that. The first night of the unit in the home, the husband stopped breathing. Stopped snoring.
Wait a minute, that doesn't sound good.
Stopped snoring. And I've had multiple people come to me and tell me that the next day or 2-3 days later. It's just really amazing. It's not something that I expected at all.
Well, here's what else is weird. When we were growing up, we had a horse, and we had a big Tennessee Walker, pure white, and we'd go out to the barn for the whole entire day, go walk around there, ride the horse all day, and when we came home, those clothes smelled like we were still at the barn. But I remember putting on that machine, and back in the days when you would go out to the clubs when they still had smoking, you would come home and you'd have to take those clothes that you wore to the club off because they just absorbed all the cigarette smoke into the fabric. But here's what's weird. When you have the machine, it takes the smell out of the clothes. You can leave these clothes out. So I remember taking a jacket off that I wore to the club. I wasn't smoking, but the jacket smelled like smoke. I just put it over a kitchen chair where the machine was on top of the refrigerator. In the morning, the jacket smelled brand new. So what did the machine do? Clean the fabric, or how did that work?
It takes the odor out of the machine. This machine will take any odor, kind of like a little Pac-Man, especially if you turn it on high, and it'll just take chunks of that odor and start turning it into oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor, actually. It seeks something to clean up. This is hungry air. This is hungry, clean air that just seeks pollution, just like outdoors. It works exactly like sunshine and wind do outdoors. Sunshine, wind, and thunderstorms create exactly the same process, and that's why, if there's something like a dead skunk in the middle of the road, you're not going to smell it for 3 weeks. It's going to be gone fairly shortly, and a skunk lasts a long time, but outdoors it'll last much less.
Yeah, and what's the comparison when you talk about the machine and with the ions generated like from a waterfall or a rainstorm?
Same thing. It's the same thing, except in this case it's produced electronically, and that it just starts pouring billions of negative ions into your whole house, and they circulate along with the airflow. They don't go through ductwork real well because they get absorbed by the metal duct work, but if you leave the doors open to your house for a little while and just let it circulate normally, like broccoli smell up into the second story, they will slowly go throughout your house and begin to drop the dust particles. But it's just like the same kind of negative ions that are used, that are produced outside in a thunderstorm or with the wind blowing.
Now, are some of the new machine, does it use the ultraviolet technology?
Yes, it does. And the ultraviolet technology is a UV lamp, lifespan of approximately 3 years. It's surrounded by an RCI cell, which means radiant catalytic. Oh dear, my mind went blank. The radio catalytic ionization, and what that does is the UV light shines on this honeycomb structure and turns a little tiny bit of water vapor, which happens to be on that honeycomb structure, into OH ions and releases it out into the air. You don't have to add water to the unit. There's enough humidity in the air to make enough hydrogen peroxide units. That is the new part of the machine. That is the new thing. The old machines did not have that UV light and that RCI cell in there. And because they didn't have it, the older units could not tear apart man-made chemicals such as varnish, paint, plug-ins, any man-made odor at all. Old machines can really tear apart the natural odors like dog smell and birds and cooking odors. But the new machine does an excellent job on a newly painted room. You'll be sure to use it, especially put it into a new baby's room. It's one of the worst places for a new baby because usually new parents are so excited and they totally redecorate that room and paint and put new furniture and a new mattress and, everything in there. And it's all outgassing.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That room.
The danger is, here's what people don't understand. And my brother and myself, we learned this when I bought a home out in Carroll Stream. We decided to strip it down and do it all from scratch. So we stripped down the walls, the floors, the ceilings, everything. Had brand new carpet put in, brand new hardwood floors, ceramic floors. We painted the walls, we painted the ceilings. But guess what we did? We brought in 2 of the machines because I knew the house would be full of off-gassing. So explain that. Even when you buy a new car, people are like, I love the new car smell. You're like, great, because it's making you sick. So really quick, explain to people if they've never heard off-gassing, what is it and how is it hurting them?
Off-gassing is all those chemicals that, and it happens for years and years. It's just less and less every year. But the varnish that you put on a new door or the paint that's on the walls or the new car that has a new plastic fabric seats with the foam inside the plastic seat to keep it nice and soft or memory foam or whatever it happens to be, they're all releasing the chemicals that they were made of. If you've ever bought a foam mattress and unfolded it from the packaging, the smell that comes off of it is incredible. And you'll realize that if you either take it outside to air out or use an air purifier to clean it out inside, it takes a long time to get that mattress to smell like almost nothing. Even when it smells like almost nothing, there's still a little bit coming out all the time, and that's what you want to get rid of. And kitchens, all the foam that's used in a sofa and upholstered chairs and rugs outgas formaldehyde very badly. And unless you have some way of removing that formaldehyde, and these new machines do it very well, it's going to accumulate in your home unless you have every window open, and even then, unless there's a very big storm, it's not going to come out. It's just too much of a boxed-in area.
And here's something important that people are listening. You can go back and Google this. Right now, the UV technology is going everywhere. If you look now, if you go into, I think it's Mariano's, if you go into different places where they're using lunch meat or cutting meat, you'll see big UV strips of lighting that they have because they know that it kills bacteria, strep, staph. Also, you can Google this. They've seen that they could effectively kill Ebola using a strong ultraviolet light. Can even kill the Ebola virus. So that's how this is. That technology is what's in this machine. And something more important, Bridget said, was it's the same technology that's been used by NASA in the space station, in the space shuttle. They've used this technology, but now you take that technology that's already powerful to wash your air, to wash all the smells away, to kill bacteria, to kill MRSA, to kill all these things, and then you add to it the latest technology, which is the UVA and the UVB, the rays in there to kill that. Now you have something that washes the air, cleans viruses, cleans smells. I mean, it would be great if it just cleaned smells. That would be awesome. But this goes beyond that, and it's proven in a Petri dish that it actually kills virus, staph, strep. So there's so many amazing things out there. We could go on forever. I want to thank you for coming on tonight. And you got to make us one promise that you will come back on again and be a guest.
Oh, I'd love to.
Is there anything else that, before we go to break, anything else that you could tell our people out there? We got about a minute left.
I really like the way you call it washing the air, because people are so careful about mopping their floors and having a dishwasher and having a good laundry system and everything else, and you call it washing the air because we never do that. We have never done that, and that's exactly what this machine does.
Yep.
It keeps the air clean.
Yep. And I've had the unit. We talked about the big unit that you can put on.
You can put it on your refrigerator or your bookshelf. About 6 feet in the air. Is that the only requirement?
Yeah, 3 feet up is better than 1 foot up, and 5 feet is better than 3. We have a lot more units. We have units for an airplane, for example, a personal unit that
remember, that's what I was just going to say. This is what's incredible. There's people listening right now, and they say, hey, that's all awesome, but I just have a little cubicle at work. There is one that fits your cubicle. And then another person says, hey, this is great. You can wash the air. You can put this in your house. You can wash your 3,000 square foot house. But I just want to go on an airplane, and I don't want to breathe that sick air for 8 hours. There's a personal unit that is made. You wear it with a lanyard around your neck. It's the same size as a small cell phone. You put it on. I have it. It's a personal unit. You're breathing your fresh, clean air that's being generated right from this unit around your neck. So there's all different sizes for this unit. Do they still make the, what was it, the one that was an egg? It was just like the size to go in your bathroom. Remember that one, Bridget?
Oh, yes, definitely. And
okay.
They also make one for your car, so you don't have to breathe all that plastic outgassing from your car.
So you could be in the car washing the air in the car. Maybe you're a cigarette or cigar smoker. Get one of these. But the one that I was talking about, there's one you can put in your restroom. It looks like the shape of an egg, and it plugs right in an outlet, and it constantly washes that bathroom air. And there's where you're going to get your staph, your streps, your all types of bacterias, because it's a restroom. So there's where you want,
No spray is needed.
Yeah, no spray is needed. And, you have that environment where it's dark, it's damp, you have all those germs. That one I would definitely plug in. So we're going to put up all the information at Rock Your Health Radio. Go to facebook.com/Rock Your Health Radio. We just want to thank you, Bridget, for being a guest tonight, and we hope that you will come back on the show. Awesome information, and it was great talking to you again.
Wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you.
All right. That is how you clean the air.
You wash it.
You wash that air. You don't take this. And here's what she was talking about. All the smells really are just molecules, right? They're floating around in the air. Well, you don't take that molecule and try and stick on top of it a Febreze molecule. You're like, well, I'm smelling fish molecule. Let me see if I could cover that molecule with Febreze molecule. Now you got two molecules that you're sucking it. You're adding.
Yeah, you're
crap.
not. You're not getting rid of the smell.
No,
that's how they advertise it.
Right. No.
Spray some Febreze and you eliminate the smell. No, you're not eliminating anything.
No, the molecule still exists. What she was talking about is you're taking a positive ion and a negative ion. One is attaching to the other, like Pac-Man. That's a perfect example. It's eating the other. It's gone. So we're not covering it. We're not masking it. We're wiping it out.
I have the all-time high score on Pac-Man.
There you go. There you go. Now, last week, we did get barraged with mail. So I don't think this is the most mail we've ever received on a guest. So tell everyone first who the guest was and your own personal experience.
Well, I want to send a personal huge thank you to last week's guest, Melinda Cusack. She is the creator and owner of Lulu Faye's Country Suds. Now, if you go on Facebook, just type that in, LULUFAYS, Lulu Faye's Country Suds. there's a button right on there, buy now or shop. You click that, that will take you to her Etsy site. And
Well, I was saying last week,
right.
You know what? For all you dummies out there who always do the same old thing, send flowers or send candy or do the same old, why not do something different for our Valentine's Day? Order some bath bombs, some custom-made bath bombs, some custom-made soaps. She does shower fit. She does all these things.
Right.
And they're 100% organic. They're all natural. Every ingredient she puts in her product, you can eat.
Right.
You can eat every product. So there's nothing chemical in there. And you said, all right, I'll do it.
Well, as one of those dummies, I
Right.
said, that sounds like a great idea. My wife uses products like that. Let's try this out. So I ordered 3 of the bath bombs, 2 of the cupcake bath
So
bombs.
wait, so people listening, a bath bomb is all the oils, the scent, the fragrance, the essential oil, all put into the shape. It looks like a cupcake.
Right. Some of them do. There's cupcakes, and then there's regular ones that just, you have like a star shape. But you drop that into your bathtub of water,
Right.
and then it just kind of dissipates, and it fills the water with the cleaning, the moisturizing, the scent,
The
everything
oils.
in it. Right.
You get right in. So you don't add anything to the bath. You just take the bath bomb,
Right.
toss it in. It's not like a grenade. You don't have to pull the pin first. You
No.
just take the cupcake, put it in the water. Everything that you need for the bath is already put into the cupcake.
Right.
So you're dropping it in, and I mean it's the shape of a cupcake. It's not an actual cupcake.
But you did say you could eat it.
That you eat the real cupcake downstairs. Then you go
Oh,
upstairs and
okay.
take the bath bomb cupcake. So did your house smell like a spa once you put that in?
Our house smelled like a spa before we even used them. When
Yeah.
we just opened the package,
Right.
the house smelled like a spa.
Because the essential oils.
Correct.
Yeah.
So my wife tried it, absolutely loved it. So we're definitely going to be repeat customers. But where the thank you comes in is not only for the excellent product, but Melinda was nice enough to include a few little extras in the package. So guys like me or you, like I'm not a bath guy.
Right.
I take showers.
Yeah.
She has a product that I believe it's called a shower fizz. Now it looks like the bath bomb, but you put it in the bottom of your shower.
It's like a hockey puck.
Right. And you let the hot water hit that, and you get all of the aromatherapy benefits.
Right.
It fills the air of your shower with whatever scent is associated with it.
So that's how you kick off your morning. You got whatever shower fizz you want to use, or if you're going to bed for the night,
Yeah,
use
you
a
want to
calming
relax.
one.
Right.
Throw that shower fizz in, and you don't have to take a bath.
Right. So I tried that. I loved it. And then she also threw in lip balm and a vanilla one and a bacon one. That was pretty awesome.
A bacon lip balm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
what we were saying about lip balms is if you read the ingredients, the funniest thing you're ever going to see in your life, and after you listen to the show, go look at it yourself. When you look at the lip balm, it says right on there, do not swallow. Well, wait a minute. I'm putting it on my lips. I'm licking my lips all day, and it says do not swallow because of the chemicals, and it's petroleum-based. I don't
Right.
want petroleum on my mouth.
No.
Her lip balms, again, all natural.
Right.
So it's shea butter, it's coconut oil, it's all natural oils. That's it. So, yeah, that's an incredible product. And that just really stays in theme what we're talking about.
I actually did eat it.
You did eat the bacon balm?
Well, I kept putting it on my lips and it tasted so good. I ate it like a beef jerky.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. But it was it's excellent. The scent is it's a cool idea for guys. So it's not all kind of frilly and, spa, like just for the ladies. If you go on that website, again, go to Facebook, go to Lulu Faye's Country Suds. There's the shower fizzes, there's the bath bombs, there's soaps.
The
for
soaps
everybody.
we both use.
Right.
And those are all pure oils. Your skin will never feel softer. You're used to using soap. I'm going to tell you right now, your soap is full of lye and dyes and chemicals. And when you use that soap, your skin feels skin tight because it draws all the oils out of your skin,
Right.
ages you. And that's why you all wonder How come in the winter your skin is all itchy and it's all dry and it's flaky? It's because you're pulling all the oils out. This is going to be one of the only soaps you're going to buy, Lulu Faye's Country Suds. You're going to buy that soap. You're going to put oils into the skin. But what kind of oils? Organic. Coconut oil, shea butter. It's all in a goat's milk base.
And
That's
for the
what she's-
longest time, I always wondered why you never aged.
That's it.
And originally I thought it was because you were a vampire, but then I found out
Lulu Faye's.
you're just using the organic soaps.
Exactly. So, yeah, if you try the soap, your skin will feel different, especially here in Chicago. Everyone has dry skin. It's winter. You're going to use the soap, and it's always going to feel, and we have hard water. So get the soap. Go to that website. We got to thank her again because it's amazing. The product is great. It's chemical-free. Start getting rid of the chemicals. We just told you tonight how to get chemicals out of your home, out of your air. We're telling you how to get them out of your products now.
Stop putting them on your skin, which goes directly into your body.
Yeah. Stop using the soaps, and then the soap dries you out, so then you got to use a lotion. Well, then the lotion is full of mineral oil. That dries you out. She does have lotions. Once again, goat's milk, coconut oil, olive oil in her lotions. I'd rather use that once it's all things that are edible. That's what you put on your skin. Then you don't have dry skin. Then you have all the benefits of anti-aging. You have all the benefits of chemical-free. Stop pushing chemicals through your pores. Your skin is your biggest organ. Stop putting chemicals into it. You know what? And people don't get it. When you do a nicotine patch, it's transdermal. That means transferred through the dermis, through the skin. Why would you put lotions, perfumes, and everything else transdermally into your bloodstream? Just go and get it, people. I'm not going to tell you anymore.
So thanks again, Melinda, for being on the show and for providing a great product.
Yeah, great stuff. Go to it, facebook.com/Lulu Faye's Country Suds.
And thanks again to our guest this evening, Bridget Cornelius.
Thank you, Bridget. Great information,
You know,
great
I don't
products.
just touch on real quick. I don't think we mentioned where they get these machines.
We're going to put all of that information
Perfect.
up on Rock Your Health Radio. Go to facebook.com/Rock Your Health Radio, or you could always go to newlifeholistic.com. We will tell you where to get the machines we spoke about tonight, because if you listen to this show and you don't go buy a machine, then you're crazy. Because this machine is going to change your life, for your kids, for your pets, for you, just the way your whole house smells, how you breathe and how you sleep. All right, everyone, don't forget to tune in next week. Another exciting show with another exciting guest. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.